Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Nashchaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Durlabhamanusho Deho Dehinam Shana Bhangurai Tatrapi Durlabham Manye Vaikuntha Priyadarshinaha Param Ananda Pathaya Prema Varshyaksharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Śrī Krishnāya Namostute. O Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. By reading you, one attains transcendental bliss, for your syllables rain pure love of God upon the reader. You are always to be served by everyone, for you are the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayantasto abhadrani vidhunoti suhritsatam sadhu sanga sarva shastra koi lavamatra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy. Namo Vishnu padaya Krishna prishthaya bhutale Śrīmate bhakti vedanta swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Jai Śrī Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear worshipable devotees, for joining. We are reading Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter number 5, entitled The Meeting of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva. So we read a quick summary yesterday of this wonderful chapter. So today we will start from the verses. Is my voice audible? Okay, it's audible. Let's begin this beautiful new chapter. Shri Shuka Uvacha Nandastava Atmaja Utpanne Jathalado Mahamanaha Ahuya Vipran Vedagyan Snata Shuchir Alankritaha Vachitva Swastya Yanam Jata Karmatmajasya Vai Karyam Asa Vidhivat Pitri Devarichanam Tatha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhacharana Aravind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shukadeva Goswami said, Nanda Maharaj was naturally very magnanimous, and when Lord Krishna appeared as his son, he was overwhelmed by jubilation. Therefore, after bathing and purifying himself, and dressing himself properly, he invited Brahmanas who knew how to recite Vedic mantras. After having these qualified Brahmanas recite auspicious Vedic hymns, he arranged to have the Vedic birth ceremony celebrated for his newborn child according to the rules and regulations. He also arranged for the worship of the demigods and the forefathers. Put, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has discussed the significance of the words Nandastu. The word tu, he says, is not used to fulfill the sentence because without tu, the sentence is complete. Therefore, the word tu is used for a different purpose. Although Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki, Devaki and Vasudeva did not enjoy the Jata Karma, the festival of the birth ceremony. Instead, the ceremony was enjoyed by Nanda Maharaj, as stated here. Nandastav Atmaja Utpanne Jata Ahlado Mahamanaha. When Nanda Maharaj met Vasudeva, Vasudeva could not disclose. Your son Krishna is actually my son. You are his father in a different way, spiritually. Because of fear of Kamsa, Vasudeva could not observe the festival of Krishna's birth. Nanda Maharaj, however, took full advantage of this opportunity. The Jata Karma ceremony can take place when the umbilical cord connecting the child and the placenta is cut. However, since Krishna was brought by Vasudeva to the house of Nanda Maharaj, there was the chance for this. Where was the chance for this to happen? In this regard, Shri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur desires to prove with evidence from many Shastras that Krishna actually took birth as the son of Yashoda before the birth of Yogamaya, who is therefore described as the Lord's younger sister. Even though there may be doubts about the cutting of the umbilical cord, and even though it is possible even though there may be doubts about cutting the umbilical cord, even though it is possible that this was not done when the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, such events are regarded as factual. Krishna appeared as Varahadev from the nostril of Brahma, and therefore Brahma is described as the father of Varahadev. Also significant are the words Karyam Asa Vidhivat, being overwhelmed with jubilation over the birth of his son. Nanda Maharaj did not see whether the cord was cut or not. Nanda Maharaj did not see whether the cord was cut or not. Thus, he performed the ceremony very generously. According to the opinion of some authorities, Krishna was actually born as the son of Yashoda. In any case, without regard of material understandings, we can accept that Nanda Maharaj's celebration of the ceremony of Krishna's birth was proper. This ceremony is therefore very well known everywhere as Nandotsav. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So Krishna is born. Nanda ke ananda bhayo, Jai Kanhaiya Lal ki. Nandotsav. So after Krishna is born, the next day is Nandotsav. After Gauranga Mahaprabhu is born, the next day is Jagannath Mishra Festival, or the Utsa Festival means Utsav. Because the parents are so happy that the Supreme Lord, their child, is born. Nandastav Atmaja Utpanne. So here again the point is coming that Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur mentioned that Krishna was born simultaneously, parallelly as the son of Yashoda and Devaki, although they are the same in one way as the eternal mothers of the Lord, but the Vrindavan Krishna and the Mathura Krishna. So there was the son of Yashoda, Krishna, and then the daughter, the younger sister, was born as well. So after properly bathing and purifying himself, that's an important point. All the samskaras are done with proper cleanliness. He invited devotees, Mahamanaha, very great-minded. This is a very nice point. And he did not forget the rules and regulations. Because sometimes one could be in great joy that one could forget the rules and regulations. So here it's mentioned that Vidhivat, according to Vedic regulations, he did all the Jata Karma Sanskar. Jata Karma Atmaja Jasyaiva. So he performed the Jata Karma Sanskar. These are different purificatory ceremonies or samskaras done. And most of them are at when the child is very young. A few, like 3-4 of them, and the child is in the womb. And by the time the child gets to 10 years or 10 years, most of the sanskars are done. And this one is done, as Prabhupada is mentioning, before the umbilical cord is cut. More specifically, a little bit honey is poured on the golden ring, and it is touched upon the jiva of the child with the golden ring. It's also mentioned in the sanskara book for the Jata Karma sanskar. So again, all these principles are done for purification, and these are also recommended. They are available. The devotees are recommended to do these as per time, place, and situations. So very, very generous. The ceremony was very, very gorgeous. He was Mahamana, very happy. And Atmaja. Atmaja means one's own child. So a lot of wonderful points are there. And basically a wonderful festival is going on because Krishna has appeared. And everyone is happy. Nanda Nandana is also name of Krishna. Nanda is who is joyful or happy. Nanda ko bhi jo anand de, that's Nanda Nandana. Prahlad Ahlad Dadaine. Prahlad Ahlad. The one who gives joy to Prahlad Nrsimhadev. Because devotee gives joy to the Lord and the Lord gives joy to the devotee. This is the reciprocal relationship. The devotee sees the Lord is and the devotee is happy, like Prahlad Ahlad. That's the devotee giving joy to the Lord. But in Nanda Nandana, the word is the one who gives joy to Nanda. So the Lord gives joy to the devotee, and the Lord derives happiness out of it. And the devotee gives joy to the Lord, and the devotee derives happiness. So this is the beautiful reciprocal relationship, and Nanda Nandana or Nandotsav is going on. So let's all take part through our minds in this wonderful festival of Nanda Nandana or Nandotsava, and move to the next verse. Yes, Nandini Mataji, want to read or add?
Yes, Dandat Pranam devotees. Thank you, Prabhu. So Nandotsav is also day Prabhupada is born. And that's why he was also sometimes called Nandulal. And also it's the same day Radhana Swami reached Vrindavan first time. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a very nice connection. Would you like to read the next verse?
Yes, Prabhu. Dandat Pranam. Denunam niyute pradat viprebhya samalanga krute tiladri sata ratno ghashat ratnanuga shata komba baram brutan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Prabhupada ki jai. Nanda Maharaj gave 2 million cows completely decorated with cloth and jewels in charity to the Brahmanas. He also gave them 7 hills of grain covered with jewels and with cloth decorated with golden embroidery. So such is the wealth of a Brahmana who protects cows, that he had 2 million cows not for himself, and they were decorated with cloth and jewels. He just gave them so much in charity. That's sometimes we can't even think, we can't even think of giving $2 million. What is 2 billion paisas even in charity, right? And these cows are decorated with cloth and jewels. And he has such a big heart to give them in charity. And grains too. I mean, come on, imagine now, contrast this fast forward few years of civilization, so-called, and most of the people are really scared about not having enough food, or that soon there'll be food shortage. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Therefore, Nanda Maharaj is addressed here as Mahamanaha in the previous verse. Because it certainly takes a very, very broad-minded person to be so magnanimous, generous, and charitable. Because even though one may have, but have a lot, right? But the having a big heart to give, that's very rare. But only one who is Mahamanaha, one who is very broad-minded, one who has great mind, as the Prabhupada translates Mahamana as one who was great-minded or broad-minded. Real Brahmana, not Kripana, not Kanjus Makhichus, but very, very broad-minded. Udar Charitanam, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. And therefore, those who use with that broad-minded spirit, then Krishna also says, oh, my child is using it in a nice way. Let me give him more. Like Srila Prabhupada, he came to US with 40 rupees, $7. And he built temples, 108 temples across the globe, worth 40 millions of dollars. So many farm communities, so many land, projects, disciples, so why? Because broad-minded, not Kripana. Although in the Damodar Leela, this number comes, right? He had 900,000 cows, right? But here we see actually the number was much higher. Well, 2 million he gave in charity. So there must be like millions of cows. Is it not? They must be having millions of cows. Dhenunam niyothe pradat. He gave these milk-giving cows. That's also a very nice point to reflect upon. Because generally, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj mentions this point. Generally, when sadhus come to the door, people give them some 2 days old roti or some chipped rice or something which is not of much value. When they want to anyways clear out from their home, or these old clothes, anyways I don't use, let me give to the sadhus. Let me give to these beggars. Anyways, they're not good for me, or maybe they're not much value, right? For my child, I will buy a nice $100, nice cloth or gadget or whatever. But for the sadhus, I'll give the old $5 worth, But here, a very nice point here that he gave milk-giving cows. Most of you may be aware that milk-giving cows have much higher, in terms of course, the cows are cows. We cannot compare their value, but they were not old, cows which were just, cows are cows. We cannot compare, but the point is milk-giving cows, everyone wants them, right? They were like the best he had, right? They were the best he could. He did the best for the others. In charity, he gave the best things. It's a great lesson too. And not just attention to detail is a symptom of love. When we present something to someone, right? Or all the cows were nicely decorated also with nice jewels and proper cloth. So that means he gave from lot of heart, lot of love, lot of devotion, not just ritualistically. He had a lot of, he was a very great Mahamanaha. Hills of grains, not just 1 pound, 2 pound, hills of grain, mountains of grains he gave. And they were also mentioned with 7 hills of grains. Wow, Sapta. So covered with golden embroidery. It all shows, all these that how meticulous he was in giving charity to the brahmanas, to everyone, is an expression of joy, is an expression of Lord's arrival, is an expression of his Mahamanaha. And one who gives in connection to Lord is never a loser. Rather, Krishna gives him multifold times more and more and more. Any other thoughts? Any comments in this text? Okay, who didn't get chance yesterday, maybe can read today. We'll move on to the next verse, text 4.
Oh, can I read?
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Text 4. Kalena snana shauchabhyam samskarasya tapasya jaya shuddhayanti danya santustya dravyagnya atma vidyaya. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai.
O king, but the passing of time, land, or other material possessions are purified. By bathing, the body is purified, and by being cleansed, unclean things are purified. By
Purificator
ceremonies, birth is purified. By
austerities.
austerity, the senses are purified. And by worship and charity offered to brahmanas, material
Possessions
are purified. By sacrificing satisfaction, the mind is purified. And by self-realization or Krishna conscious, the soul is purified. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
You can scroll for purpose. These are Shastric injunctions concerned how one can purify everything according to Vedic civilization. Unless purified, anything we use will have infect us with contamination. In India, 5,000 years ago, even in the villages such as that of Nanda Maharaj, people knew how to purify things, and thus they enjoyed even material life without contamination. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Vikant Prabhu and Chakrika, for reading this verse. Beautiful verse. Any thoughts?
One simple thought that came to my mind is like here whenever we have prasadam at home, we prepare a food before I or in the family, we never used to offer anything to Govinda. But after we started doing it, then we call it prasadam. So it's a simple, even though it is like we don't do with such an opulence like what Nanda Maharaj did. We are just offering a bowl of rice to Govinda, and we start to have it as prasadam, which means like we are making ourselves purified there. That small thing, that's one way of I'm looking at it, Prabhu. Please add. Prabhuji, Chakrika wants to share.
Yes, Chakrika, please. Thank you.
Anything spiritual we do, your soul gets purified.
Like what?
Like chanting and doing kirtans and arti and other stuff like that.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Let's make a chart here because there are so many things. This is a nice verse which is often quoted. So many elements are mentioned, and what's the process of purification. So the first element mentioned is the land or the material things. So how is the land or the material possessions? Material, literally land actually is, let's talk about the land here. Yeah. You all can help me to fill it. How's the land purified? By passing of time, right? That's the first point. Kalena, by passing of time. Like for example, let's say a place where even we have seen maybe some war happen. After a few decades, it will again get, it's by the nature's arrangement, by the passing of time, it will be again back to normal, right? By rains and sun and different flora and fauna will start to come. Okay, so that's passing of time. Then the point is about body. How is the body purified? The human body or the material body? Anyone?
By bathing.
Bath. By taking shower, yeah.
Yes, by taking bath, yeah, by bathing. As well as Radha Govind Maharaj was mentioning that actually bathing is, it is mentioned in scriptures that in Kali Yuga people will take bath with water. So taking bath by water is not sufficient. That is not real purification. Maharaj mentioned that we should always chant some mantras, and the best of all mantras, Eko mantra sitasya namani yani, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gange cha yamune chaiva Godavari Sindhu Kaveri. Gange cha yamune chaiva Narmada Sindhu Kaveri Godavari. What's that verse?
Godavari Saraswati.
Godavari Saraswati. Yeah, Vijay
Gange
Mataji.
cha Jamune cha Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalasmin Sanidhyam Kuru.
Haribo. Yes, we should chant those mantras. Har Har Gange. Hare Kṛṣṇa, like that. Ganga Mata ki jai, Yamuna Mata ki jai, Harinam Prabhu ki jai, Krishna 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 Hare. Like that we are bathing, and then after bathing we put tilak. That's actually real bathing, not just by water. So body is purified, and by cleaning. It's mentioned by cleaning, unclean things are purified. Sorry. That's kind of general. Okay, what about the birth? How is the birth purified? Anyone?
Jata karma.
Jata karma is one of the samskaras. Yes, samskaras. What's that famous word? Sanskarat bhaved dvija, right? What's that? Anyone remembers? Mataji or Prabir probably remember the samskarat bhaved vipra. Samskara dvija. What's that? Maybe someone can find that and help me. That one is in the English. I remember.
It's like janmana jayate shudra samskarat vija uchyate. Veda pathanat bhavet vipra brahma janati iti brahmana. Yeah.
Can you please find that if possible?
Yeah. I found it. I won't remember it. I found it. I'll forward it to everybody.
Wonderful. So by the samskaras, one's birth is purified here, as mentioned, and he started with the jata karma samskara. Then the next point is about samskara tapasya, austerity. The senses are purified. So engaging senses in the sense gratification, in the objects of senses, is basically polluting them, right? What's the opposite of purifying? Polluting, right? So if we engage our senses in the object of senses, like engaging eyes in watching something wrong, engaging ears in hearing something wrong, and we all know what is material sense gratification. But tapo divyam, we have to do austerity. That means not let the senses wander in the objects of the senses. That is purification of senses. So that is for senses. Tapasya ijya shuddhyanti ijya. What is ijya? Anyone remembers? Anyone knows? What is ijya? There's a famous verse where this word ijya comes in Bhagavad Gita.
Mahatvakanksha.
Mahatvakanksha.
Sarvadharman Parityajya.
Parityajya, that's giving up. Ijya.
I think 1854.
Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam madhyaji. Worship me, madhyaji. That's the same word here. Yeah, worship me. So by the worship of the Supreme Lord, by worship and charity offered to the Brahmanas, so ijja basically also is another word, synonym to worship. So what's purified? By material possessions are purified. Material possessions, and Mataji has shared this verse. Janmana jayate shudraha. That means janam se sab shudra hai. Samskara dvija uchyate. By samskara one becomes dvija. Dvija means twice born. Veda pathnat bhaved vipraha. By Veda patana, by Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam study, it becomes vipraha. And Brahmana, Brahma janiti iti Brahmana. One who knows the absolute truth is real Brahmana. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that. So now we're talking about wealth or material possessions. Material possessions. Dana. Sorry, actually I missed. There are two things here. By dana or charity in Krishna consciousness or any spiritual cause, our wealth is purified because the wealth we earn is full of sins. One may have a very Brahmanical profession like a teacher, but still one may take his car or her car and go to the school or college, and so many insects and things get killed. Every time we breathe, we cannot stop breathing, right? So many microbes are killed. So no matter what one's profession could be, there are always some direct or indirect sinful activities happening. So one must, especially for grihasthas, one must give in charity for Krishna conscious cause. to help Srila Prabhupada's mission, book distribution, prasad distribution, inviting devotees, and so many ways are there, building temples, helping others, cow protection, helping senior Vaishnavas who may be in a need, helping Prabhupada disciples, and in so many ways we can help. So must. Otherwise, heart becomes hard, and we become attached to money, which is very dear to everyone in this world. So we should nicely balance and give some portion of the wealth earned through rightful means in charity, or use it directly or indirectly in the service of Lord and his devotees. So Prabhupada is also mentioning the Brahmanas become purified. By worship. So basically, this is for everyone, that everyone needs to be a Brahmana, at least in heart, or Vaishnava. One must engage in the worship of the Lord. Then santushtasya, santushti, satisfaction. The mind becomes purified by satisfaction. Satisfaction is the real wealth of the mind. Satisfaction is the real ornament of a mind. One who is satisfied and happy will only be happy. Asantushtasya kuto sukham. One who is not satisfied can never be happy. There could never be any peace in one's life. One will always be craving for more. There is no end to that. No end to wealth, no end to better car, no end to better home. There's always someone with a better material things. So, but one who is happy and satisfied, that is real wealth. That is real qualification. That's how process to satisfy, to cleanse the mind. The mind will demand. The mind's nature is fickle and crazy. Monkey mind wants one thing or the other. Greed, lust, anger. And finally, dravya. So we discussed that. Dravyani, all material possessions are purified by giving in charity. Satisfaction for the mind. And the last is soul. Atma vidyaya. Atma vidyaya. Atma, the first Atma is referring to soul. Atma vidyaya is one who knows the science of soul. Is basically one who is self-realized, or one who is Krishna conscious. So basically, bhakti is the process of purification of soul. Right now, Cheto Darpana Marjana, cleansing the soul. Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapana, which is covered with lust, anger, greed. So many coverings. So this is the process to purify as per the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We must take it. Any thoughts, any comments anyone has?
So, ujjate better come in the sloka of Jas Sastra Vidhim ujjate, vartate kamakarata. That ujjate was worship, right?
Yeah, Shastra Vidhim Utsrijya. Utsrijya means give up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Shastra Vidhim Utsrijya. One who has given up the Shastra Vidhi, or the regulations of the scriptures. Nice point, bro. Okay, so we will, I hope this was meaningful. This is an important verse, so thought to cover that in more detail. Let's read the next verse, which is text number 5. Okay, who would like to read this? Wasn't a chance today or yesterday? Maswati Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam everyone. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 5. Mangalya Giro Vipraha Suta Magadha Bandinaha Gayakasya Jagur Nedur Virya Dunduvayo Muhu. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Brahmanas recited auspicious Vedic hymns which purified the environment by their vibration. The experts in reciting old histories like the Puranas, the experts in reciting the histories of royal families and general reciters all chanted, while singers sang and many kinds of musical instruments like veris and dunduvis played in accompaniment. So the Namda Utsav is going on, and Brahmanas, singers, Brahmanas are reciting the mantras, singers are singing. So all are enjoying the birth of Lord Krishna in Nanda Maharaj's house. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. This theme comes again and again, that whenever there is a festival, all the assembled personalities are engaging what Krishna has blessed them with to please the Supreme Lord. This is spiritual world. This is festival. And we all have been blessed by Krishna in different ways. Like even in any temple congregation, any festival, someone is good in cooking, someone is good in music, someone is good in playing instruments, someone is good in coordination, someone is good in handling the kids, someone is good in managing the logistics. In so many ways, someone can raise funds better. So God, Krishna has blessed us with so many different capacities and talents and skills. So we must all use it to the best of our ability. Like all these personalities, some are singing, some are reciting verses, some are playing the musical instruments like dundubis, etc. And they're all happy. They're not comparing, hey, why I'm not doing that? Hey, why I'm not doing that? Bhakti, when Krishna sees all the devotees come together and happily and joyfully do their best, that gives the pleasure to Guru and Krishna. So that's what is happening here, and that's what gives more joy to Nanda, to Nandana, and makes it a wonderful Utsa. Any more thoughts on this point, in this verse? We will read the next verse, text number 6. Yes, Adhir Prabhu, you want to read?
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees and all close to Srila Prabhupada. Text number 6. Vraja samastra samskita dvara chira grahantara chitra dvaja pataka srak saila pallava taro niha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Varjapura, the residence of Nanda Maharaja, was fully decorated with varieties of festoons and flags, and in different places, gates were made with varieties of flower garlands, pieces of cloth, and mango leaves. The courtyards, the gates near the roads, and everything within the rooms of the house were perfectly swept and washed with water. Very good. So we can see here even the residence of Nanda Maharaja was decorated, and which was very opulent, and were made of flower garlands, mango leaves. So it's like, as you said, right, Prabhuji, festival mood. So it was amazing, Prabhuji. Please add Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We have seen that this theme of decorating with festoons and flags, and a very point to observe here that all the elements of decoration used are very, very natural and sattvic, right? These days, everything is so much plastic oriented. But as far as possible, of course, we are living in a dark iron age. But as far as possible, we should try to use the natural elements of decoration, like mango leaves, banana leaves, natural colors, water, cloth, etc. As Nanda Maharaj and his all the Vrajapura Vasis, the residents of Vraja, are using. So the elements of, because they have a natural, impact on the consciousness. They have a natural impact on the consciousness. Some may feel it, some will not feel it, because it depends on their level of maturity. But nature, as soon as one is with nature, one naturally feels joyful. Like, so basically, this is explaining about the stage, explaining about the decorations here. So graphic, right? We see that basically as if we are there, as if we can feel, oh, there are garlands of flowers, there are flags, festoons, the roads, and everything is very clean, nicely washed and swept, and everything is. So this is the beauty of Bhagavatam. It takes us there. If we are reading and hearing with that absorption, we will be absorbed in that pastime, and that's how we should try to be. So let's see the next one. Who would like to read? It's not read today or yesterday. Okay, anyone wants to read? Yes.
Gavu Risha Vatsatya Haridra Taila Rusitaha Vichitra Dhatu Parhasraga Vashtra Kanchana Malinaha. Please go, Prabhuji. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The cows, the bulls, and the calves were thoroughly smeared with this mixture of turmeric and oil, mixed with varieties of minerals. Their heads were bedecked with peacock feathers, and they were garlanded and covered with cloth and golden ornaments. So in this festive mood, even the cows and the bulls were decorated with turmeric, with saffron and different minerals, I suppose, with water, oil, and other things. And the animals, especially the cows and the bulls, were decorated again with peacock feathers. And they wore garlands as well, and covered with golden ornaments. So this showing
the purport. There's a purport as well, Mataji.
Yeah, the purport. Yeah, sorry, Prabhuji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has instructed in Bhagavad Gita 18:44. Krishi go rakshiya vanijayam vaishya karma swabhava jam. Farming, cow protection, and trade are the qualities of work for the Vaishyas. Nanda Maharaj belonged to the Vaishya community, the agriculturist community. How to protect the cows and how rich this community was are explained in these verses. We can hardly imagine that cows, bulls, and calves could be cared for so nicely and decorated so well with cloth and valuable golden ornaments. How happy they were. As described elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, please scroll, Babuji. As described elsewhere in the Bhagavatam, during Maharaj Yudhishthira's time, the cows were so happy that they used to muddy the pasturing ground with milk. This is Indian civilization. Yet in the same place, India, Bharatvarsha, how much people are suffering by giving up the Vedic way of life and not understanding the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. In this verse, we are still in the festive mood. Even the cows and the bulls are decorated with ornaments, even with gold, with golden things. They are smeared with saffron, and they are having garlands at their necks. And so everyone is taking part in the joy of the arrival of the little kid. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Krishna, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. This just gives us a glimpse of the real opulence of Raja. It's we cannot try to understand it in modern day. Just a slight picture I thought kind of found, and we see that even when we go to Vrindavan, we see that this, of course, this is the current picture, not 5,000 years back. 5,000 years, you see this beautiful, like so wonderful, like it's the Giriraj, the Giriraj deity, the Srinathji holding Giri Govardhan. The cows are decorated with natural colors and turmeric and tela, haridra, or turmeric with a mixture of turmeric and minerals. So this is Rishi Goraksha Varijyam. The peacock feather also we see bedecked with peacock feathers. Their hairs were bedecked with peacock feathers. So, and of course, Malinaha, golden, being decorated with garlands, Mala, Malina, bells and garlands. And Vastra also is mentioned, cloths. So even in Vrindavan, if we go, we will still find it. This is the culture. Cow is not an animal, it's a mother. How a society treats cows depend, and that's the depends on how that society will flourish or plunder. Where the cows are not protected, dharma cannot be there. Where the cows are protected, dharma is always there. Because all the demigods reside in the body of cow. Krishna is Gopala, Govinda, Govatsala. So if cows are not protected, cows are not cared, there cannot be any good over there. And that's how Prabhupada is mentioning. The Prabhupada is mentioning in the last line. Why are people suffering of Bharatvarsha? Because India has become one of the biggest exporters of beef. They're giving up the Vedic way of life and taking to the so-called modern things. Modern things, we're not opposed to modern things, but modern things bereft of Krishna consciousness, bereft of cow protection, bereft of the teachings of Bhagavad, not understanding the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. That's a problem. That's a much bigger problem. And that's why people are suffering. Because of their own choices. Because of they have given up the Vedic way of living and thinking that That's why Prabhupada came to West, because Indians are blindly imitating and trying to just copy paste the Western culture. But we know in West things are so shallow. It may appear, oh, nice roads, nice, clean, better, maybe better, faster planes, faster cars, faster trains, but very fast we are going to hellish life. Then the real culture is lost. So, in short, one must try to live by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and protect cows. This is real opulence. Krishi Goraksha Panijam. Any other comments anyone has? Oh, it's already at 45. Anything before we wrap up? Cover the first 7 verses. Anyone wants to say or add any thoughts, comments? Okay, so thank you. Let's meditate upon this wonderful Namda and be always in Ananda by thinking about Nanda and Nanda Nandana. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrī Prabhupada ki jai, Vrindavan ki jai, Vancha Thank you so much. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna.